Hello, Something Guys and Gals. This is Something Guy 912. In 2023, a once dignified individual in the YouTube sphere who slowly and assuredly stripped himself of all of his credibility, respect, and worth saw in himself to launch the sequel to what he had called a charity boxing event primed for March of that year. That was iDubbbz, who managed to sabotage the event with not only the exorbitant spending, overemphasis of making the event about punching the shit out of one another as bubble wrapped and safe as possible, and cutting off one of the cards for reasons that depend on what Ian's wife's boyfriend is feeling today. This failure of the event was compounded by them not even getting the funds needed to donate to the charities that said hosts constantly virtue signaled about as to deflect any criticism about the way they were handling things. So, suffice it to say, Creator Clash 2 and Creator Clash in general left a pretty bad taste in everyone's mouths. To this day, Ian still copes that the only reason it failed was as a result of piracy, as though to assert that no other event, or piece of media for that matter, wouldn't also suffer from it. So, I guess in order to rectify this piracy habit that Ian made sure that no one, and I mean no one, would want to pirate the next one. Q to 2025, where Ian has just announced Creator Clash 3 because instead of licking his wounds and moving on from influencer boxing, most everyone else has at this point, seems set to make the same pitfalls and mistakes of Creator Clash 2, hopefully without Sam Hyde invading his every errant glance to intervene. It was also in 2023 that I, Something Guy 912, saw my biggest growth in my YouTube career talking about this shell of a man, and it is with feathery heart that I am able to talk about him again so as to dissuade people from even giving this event a second glance. Because, let's face it, this event is an excuse for Ian and his little troupe of Californian cronies to hugbox one another and reaffirm each other about how they're doing a good cause, disguised as some sporting event. Every single person that you see participating in Creator Clash 3, knowingly or not, are complicit in how much of a catastrophe Creator Clash 2 was, and don't care about the things they supposedly posture about. So, let's see how Ian tries to hype up this disaster waiting to happen, shall we?
Creator Clash is back.
Okay, a few things off the bat. First, Ian actually retitled this video as it was originally titled, "What If I Lose Again?" as to suggest that he'll participate in the next Creator Clash. More on that later. And second, you remember how people would joke that Ian looked like a cancer patient? Well, I think Ian actually looks like he's suffering from cancer.
Tickets are available down below. Okay, this wasn't as epic as I thought it was going to be. It is quite beautiful.
Yes, because nothing gets me more hyped for a scammer event better than someone who's already unenthused about announcing it. Surely those tickets are just flying off the shelves from this performance already.
Before I tell you guys whether I'm fighting or not, I want to give some context as to what makes Creator Clash special to me and why we have to bring it back.
But do you really have to, Ian? Like, seriously. After the complete fuck-up that was Creator Clash 2, I wouldn't even bother. In fact, Ian himself said when he announced the failure of Creator Clash 2 that Creator Clash 3 wasn't in the cards for us. Also, whatever reason Ian gives are not the true reasons he does this, so he can circle jerk with his inner circle of dick riders.
Because I've been teasing things like a Creator Clash documentary. And I think I disappointed a lot of people because you're like, where the fuck is that?
I can see it now. Creator Clash 2, 150,000. How you can fuck up a charity event as badly as we did.
Now this whole thing started with a beef between me and Rice Gum. That sounds a little stupid, but sometimes stupid ideas turn into awesome events.
And sometimes, awesome events can turn into stupid events if you're arrogant enough. But I highly doubt the validity that this was the reason, given that Sam Hyde more than likely gave Ian the idea simply out of spite against him, especially with Sam Hyde daring Ian to bench 250 pounds above parallel. But let's just say for Ian's sake that this was the reason. Drama, in any context for a sporting event, usually will get eyes and ears at attendance. Hell, a lot of the reason anyone even knew Creator Clash 2 was happening was because of FroggyFresh getting unceremoniously canned, since none of the other creators bothered to even promote it. I'm mentioning this because of how Ian wants to frame what makes a boxing event special later on.
The theory I had 3 years ago when trying to promote Creator Clash 1 is the same theory I have today. I think the single most important element of an influencer boxing event is the mystery component.
So, what mystery is there if we know who's boxing and when? Come to think of it, didn't you ban Sam Hyde from your event when you discovered that Harley trained underneath him? A complete mystery to you?
Obviously, you gotta have, popular influencers. Maybe it's important to have a little drama, a little beef.
As long as it's Ian's corporate-approved drama, any drama that FroggyFresh was trying to make with other boxers or even between Anisa's mother-in-law, strictly verboten to Ian.
But what I think makes influencer boxing interesting at its core is the mystery. Who's gonna train, who's not gonna train, and what does their particular background contribute to the outcome of the fight?
Who's going to walk with a 20,000 purse? Who's not going to walk with a 20,000 purse? Yeah, real mysterious vibes there, Ian. Love it.
At one point in this video, I do say that I'll eventually make a documentary. We're all getting punched in the head. I'm documenting the whole thing. There will eventually be a documentary about the boxing event. I'm just gonna be real with you. That was the biggest lie I ever told.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Ian. You've said much bigger lies than that. Like, for example, using retroactive evidence of Froggy talking shit about Creator Clash 2 after it happened as a reason to kick him from the event. You're always much more capable of duplicity.
But seriously, I was intending to make a documentary. It just, I didn't know what was going to be important.
Oh, geez, I don't know, like, where did the $250,000 you lost went to? Oh, wait, that's not going to be part of the documentary? My bad. I too often confuse propaganda with documentary too.
I just have like 100 hours of me sparring and shadowboxing in like 4K. It's the most boring shit ever. That's not a documentary. I don't know why I ever thought that was a documentary.
And yet, all those hours and all that hyping yourself up didn't count for shit when it mattered? Honestly, I think a lot of people would love to know how you could waste that amount of time and still come up the loser.
I'm not even joking. There's like folders on folders of me doing this. Like, is that a narrative? No, I'm an idiot.
But it is, thematically speaking, interesting that you would lose twice on your own event despite having trained prior for the myriad of folders and folders of you supposedly training. Did you use that training to go process your trauma a bit too much there, Cupcake?
I never thought to like whip out my phone after an important meeting or important phone call and be like, we just secured the venue, guys. Epic Mealtime is dealing with a really traumatic hernia right now, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have a heavyweight fight. We're really scared, and those aren't the things that you really want to pop out the camera for and be like, this is what's happening.
But apparently you will whip yourself for 24 hours after failing to make donations, and then, after you and your cronies did all that bullshit, go and personally apologize to each and every single one about how their charity that which they fought for wasn't getting a dime. Nothing but professionalism in Ian's court. Or wait, is it Anisa's responsibility to make that event right? Uh-oh, I'm bringing up her girlfriend again.
The first event went off without a hitch. I was so amazed by the amount of people who showed up. It was loud from the moment the doors opened to the moment they closed. Matt Watson and Dad just killed it and just set the whole thing off. And to top it all off, we raised $1.3 million for charity. That was the best event of my life. And I wanted to do that again.
And judging from the way that Creator Clash 3 is going, you wanted it to fail again on top of doing it again.
Now for the second year, we didn't do as well financially. That's putting it lightly. We didn't anticipate the pay-per-view sales to be as bad as they were. Piracy was a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, both of those are a massive cope. You overspent, got a much bigger stadium, gave each fighter a purse for training expenses, and had multiple parties after Creator Clash 2 was over. And I'm sure kicking FroggyFresh from Creator Clash 2 didn't help matters, even if it did inadvertently bring more attention to the event as a whole, as well as the lack of any of the fighters not even Ian for that matter, promoting it as though training for a fight for these supposed content creators makes you incapable of creating more content from it.
The feedback that I had been receiving over the past year is like, just not enough advertising. A lot of people didn't know about it, and they wanted to know about the event, and they would have bought tickets.
Which goes contrary to the excuse that people pirated the event if simultaneously no one even heard about it.
We're gonna try really hard this year to remedy that. We need to advertise it. Maybe that means bugging the fighters more. I hate doing that, but maybe we have to.
Ian, you need to if you want this event to even get off the ground, much less even make a fucking profit. If not, then kick those fighters, because clearly they just want to leech off of the clout that the event would hold and not want to put their money where their mouth is.
And just me making content around this shit. And I want more people to come to this event because it's been so life-changing for me, and I feel like it is such good vibes. I felt a lot of love in that arena.
Ian, are you fucking with me? Because when I think good vibes, I don't think of two people trying to rearrange their teeth with their fists. And that is the problem with these creator clash events, Ian. You don't want the fighters to be at each other's throats. You don't want them bad-mouthing one another. You don't want interpersonal drama that can hype up the event that you want people to go to. How can you expect anyone to bother watching an event that only cares about the good vibes and not the blood, sweat, and vitriol around it?
And even from my competitor, fucking Alex Wasabi. He was all being sweet to me and everything. You know? How sweet is that?
And that's the problem, Ian. There's nothing on the line. You two don't have any beef between one another, unlike a hypothetical match between you and Leafy is here or even Keemstar. Also, I'm sure Alex more than likely was nice to you out of mercy, given he was just pummeling a grade school toddler's interpretation of how to fight in that ring.
Because we lost so much money on the second event, we weren't able to deliver to the charities. So we did this impromptu charity stream where I was like squirting ketchup down my throat for Philip DeFranco.
Oh, Philly donated 1.1K for throat chop.
And yeah, that had to be about the most degraded that I've ever seen a man become, while Anisa, you know, the person Ian said had run this fucking event, didn't have to suffer all the embarrassing shit for cocking up the whole event, and helped Ian disgrace himself further. I wouldn't even put it past me that Ian was getting turned on by being emasculated this way. Fuck it, I'll take it even farther. Ian wanted Creator Class 2 to fail just so he had an excuse to castrate himself live for 24 hours.
As much of an unorganized shit show the charity stream was, it really meant a lot to me to see how many creators and fighters and fans and people who pirated it came through and donated for the cause.
I'm sorry, what? The pirates donated to the charity stream? Gonna need a citation for that, because I don't think anyone would admit to pirating Creator Clash 2. Not out of legality, but for genuine embarrassment of having even pirated something like that. More to the point, yeah, must have been nice that you had to have your fans front the money for your fuck up, and even twice if some of them had actually paid to go to the, so to speak, charity boxing event. Like, I don't know how Ian thinks that makes him look good.
Because that told me there is a way to fundraise for an event and also have an event. We can do both at the same time, and that's what we intend to do with this year's event.
Yes, by not spending more than you can realistically make, you dipshit. Wow, who knew you could have had a charity event be successful if you don't spend beyond your means? What a fucking novel concept!
Now, obviously, we don't want a repeat of the previous year.
So, you're gonna downsize the stadium that you rented out? Oh, nope, you got the same one that put you in this mess to begin with. You're gonna not spend thousands of flying people who aren't even going to participate in said event? As far as I know, if a lot of the same fighters are taking part in this event, more than likely the same people are going to watch it. So yeah, you got quite the bridge to sell me.
Sucks losing a fuck ton of money, and it also sucks to then not be able to donate to the charity.
Yeah, especially after grandstanding for months about how you guys were a charity event after spending so much on gaudy bullshit and to process trauma, and after Ian tried to throw shade at other boxing events while knowing full well his failed, yeah, must really suck, don't it?
We've restructured things so that even if the event is unsuccessful, it's a massive flop, I don't promote it enough.
I get that Ian is saying all this as to suggest these won't happen, but honestly, with his defensiveness, it sounds like he's already doing damage control for an event that hasn't even happened yet. Kind of makes you wonder why you would, knowing that. Surely it wouldn't have anything to do with what rhymes with smacks Writeoff, would it?
Charity is still going to get money because we're going to be fundraising from now all the way to the end of the event and on the event day.
I suppose that's an improvement, but it does make me wonder at what point do you just cut the middleman and donate to the charity. It feels like the boxing event is a complete aside to it.
I have some very badass initiatives that I've developed that you guys are going to be seeing along the way.
And do those badass initiatives include maybe don't spend so fucking much?
That are meant to pack the coffers of Stand Up to Cancer. I don't know what coffers is. I don't know what packing the coffers is.
Is this what your idea of humor is now? Man, who would have known that when Ian was told to stop saying the word nigger faggot, that the baby of jokes would be thrown out with the bathwater too?
Oh, also, Stand Up to Cancer is our partnered charity this year. All donations go directly to them. We do it through Tiltify. It's real straightforward. There's like some sort of leaderboard and shit like that.
Again, I will concede that this is an improvement from before, but again, I have to wonder if you could just donate to the charity and just be done with it without the need for the event.
Now I'm going to tell you guys whether I'm fighting or not. I'm not.
Welp, any interest left in watching Creator Clash 3 just went out the window from that. And yes, despite me making fun of Ian's shadow boxing, regardless, he would still be a pull for the event despite how little respect he carries lately.
I've sacrificed enough, number one.
What the fuck have you sacrificed to do a boxing event? What, do you mean injuries sustained from the event? Wow, who would have guessed that when you box someone that it doesn't mean cover them up in bubble wrap and ship it through FedEx? Getting hurt is the bare minimum of what you would expect when you participate. Is it really that you don't want to have a mental breakdown like you did last time as though you actually didn't want to do Creator Clash in the first place?
And it also kind of goes against my theory about influencer boxing. I said it 3 years ago, I'm saying it again in this video. The more an influencer boxes, the less utility they have.
Which is why Harley now for the third time is taking part in your event, or any of the other fighters that have returned for that matter. Is that your covert way to take away their utility in a fight?
I'm approaching what would be my third fight, and it would be cool to win, but this isn't a movie. I'm okay with not fucking winning this shit.
Not winning this shit and not participating are two diametrically opposed mindsets, Ian. Also, no one thought you would win your third fight unless it was against Mike Tyson and you paid him enough to lose.
Hey, don't get me wrong. If there's enough people interested, like, I'll come back.
Okay, now I know you're fucking with me. You should already know if you are going to fight or not, given you already listed the fighters in the cards. You can't do all that and put you participating like a carrot on a stick. This is not something that you should be of two minds about.
What I'm getting at is that the fight for me is more about the event itself. Like, that's what I'm fighting for, is I just want the event to do well.
Ian and his fight to make this event even worthwhile, much less profitable. Pure cinema.
If I'm able to eventually win a fight, that would be a cherry on top. That would be awesome. That'd be a really cool redemption arc. For now, I really need to focus on the event succeeding and also just making money. Like, this shit has just drained me over the last 3 years.
Man, and what could have caused that sinkhole to form from, huh? Must be them pesky pirates, arguably.
Let's put it this way. If I fought this year, that might mean that I took Freddie Wong's slot on the fight card.
Not sure why you just wouldn't add an additional card instead of having to substitute one, and why is he deliberating over this? You don't have to make excuses for yourself as to why you won't fight. Just say you won't and be done with it.
Because Freddie Wong is fighting. That's fucking Freddie Wong walk it jump, and I think that's way better.
Oh yeah, that video that's 15 years old from a channel that hasn't uploaded in the last 6 years, I'm sure that'll get the Zoomers salivating.
If Hundar came back to fight, we might not be getting LA Beast.
If Glub Shido came to fight, we might not get Jar Jar Binks. If Sneem came to fight, we might not get AA Ron. Don't you know who AA Ron is? He's the guy who did the thing you might have liked years ago. Do you see how this will make no difference to the people whom you're trying to promote this fight?
That's the thing I don't think a lot of people get. This guy eats cactuses. This guy put his hand in some fucking vile concoction that made him scream bloody murder. I still don't know what the concoction is.
Holy shit. You are really bad at promoting your fighters, even for this whole tangent. More to the point, Ian, the video literally states what the concoction is, and the literal first second of the video has a disclaimer as to what it is, Ian. How are you still perplexed as to what he put his hand in? Also, again, 10-year-old video. You really know how to capture that modern audience, huh?
This guy is insane. If Matt Watson came back, we might not have room for this guy that I met at E3 10 years ago, who now has a booming animation company and apparently likes to do violence in his spare time.
Wow, real glowing praise for that dude, huh? Yeah, I'm sure he can write, "Dude I met at E3 10 years ago" on his fucking resume for why you brought him in. Holy shit, Ian cannot promote people worth to save his life.
The website's in the description. Go check out all the fighters. The YouTube account is going to have a bunch of original content that's following these fighters, so you're going to be able to be a little bit prepped. The best thing to do is follow all the Creator Clash socials, so you're able to be updated on everything. This year is going to be a banger.
This year is going to be a banger, but I also had to put multiple safety nets and fail-safes. I'm not confident in my own ability to promote people, and I may or may not fight, but that might undercut other people who are also fighting, who have not made content in years, and are more or less the same people who took part in the event that was a failure.
I think it's a great idea if he doesn't fight. I think like running an event and fighting in it is kind of a bad idea. It's hard enough kind of like running an event.
Oh wow, the one person I wanted to hear to justify Ian not fighting. The fucking dude who'd lick the ballsack sweat from Hassan Piker if he had recently sat up from his gaming chair.
There you go. I got an endorsement to not box. Thank you. Bless.
Hey Ian, since you seem prone to take any suggestion from whoever, here's my endorsement. Kill yourself. And that's about as much as this video is worth, as Ian tries to hype up the event after how much wind he knocked from its sails with a trailer of highlights from the prior two boxing events. Don't buy tickets to this event. Don't even watch it for free, whether you pirate it or not. If you care about charity, then donate to those fundraisers if you feel so inclined. But you shouldn't need to have the smell of this boxing event to tarnish your donation. This event is going to fail, charity or no, and as far as I'm concerned, all the people who take part in this are fine with working with people who lied, morally grandstanded, and begged to their fans to right their wrongs. Creator Clash 3? More like Creator Crash Out, 3 times a tax write-off.